So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Bringling. Today, welcoming all of you for our third investors meet of Billion Dollar Dream Challenge, which we have started the journey on 15th August 2021 with a financial freedom pledge taken for the country. That one of the main important reason why we did that was because India was the number one economy or the most wealthiest country. But what happened in 1192 when we lost our independence on in 1192 with our last Hindu Samrat Prithviraj Chauhan, and since then it took 755 years for us to regain that independence. The good part with the Indians are, if you today see, India is the number one populated country today, number one diaspora, which means that Indians, more and more NRIs which we have, which are spread across the world. We are the number one citizens, or the kind of nationality which is kind of accepted in the Fortune 500 companies. We are having the second largest road network in the country today, across the world. We are the third largest startup ecosystem, and we have become the fifth largest economy in just 75 to 78 years. The way India is growing at this point in time, it is going to it is expected to become number three by 2029, and we may become number one economy by 2047, which is not even 100 years of independence. And that is what which we are looking at, that how can we transform it back. 2019, I was attending Taikwan Mumbai, and in there I heard Mohandas Pai talking about 90% of Indian startups are funded by foreign investors, mostly Chinese. And when these investors exited in 2021, when this IPO came of Zomato, Nika, Paytm, and three others, Indian investors lost more than 50% of their wealth in a single day, as high as 2 lakh crores. And that was the awakening moment for all of us, where we decided to take this financial freedom pledge. That while we are and similarly at that point in time, Sri Lanka became bankrupt almost the same time, because the Chinese started taking over their manufacturing units and everything, and they literally put all the Chinese workers over there. There was no jobs employment available for the local youth, and they had to run out. Plus, the countries have been given so much of debt, that country, that their GDP became much lesser than what they could pay it as a debt. And that is one of the reason where we thought that, if you see India also is trying to now curb the new leadership under Prime Minister Modi. They're trying to curb imports. In fact, yesterday I was seeing one of the posts on LinkedIn, that how one of the premium car is sold at 2.92 crores in India versus 1.5 crores in US. It's almost double, because government doesn't want to bring more and more foreign investment. The reason is, when you take foreign investments, the foreign investor will force you to invest, to put your company registration in their own country. What happened with Byju's? We'll talk about a little bit around the Byju's case study. What is our perspective, my perspective? I somehow feel that Byju's loss, whatever we have lost, is because of the investors' greed, and especially because they've gone outside the country to the raise funds. If they would have stayed in India, probably it would have been better compliant, because government is putting a lot of compliance pressures on every startup and investors also today. And at least your money is coming from India, and the money is in India, you have better support of the Indian government. Which, if you invest outside the country, it becomes very, very difficult. In fact, a lot of financial planners nowadays, Sharon 1% Club, and there are many others, they generally ask you to invest 20%, 30% of your income into US companies or even cryptocurrencies. I personally won't recommend that, because it's not that they're not giving good returns. In fact, uh, Ankur Wariku, he's also one of my mentor. He also suggests to do that in US businesses. 1% Club, Sharon Hegre is my mentor. We are part of the same community. And but still, what I believe is that rather than doing that outside, put that 20, 30, 40% of the gross income of yours, invest in Indian startups, support the Indian economy, support the Indian startups, and we have a huge potential. I was just doing a simple calculation that if you invest just 10,000 rupees, 1 billion, we have 1.4 billion people, almost 140 crores, right? I'm saying 100 crore people, if they invest just 10,000 rupees in Indian startups, we are able to raise $1 trillion. That's the power, actually $1.25 trillion to be precise. When the Britishers left India, by that time they have actually taken away from India. This is the number I've gotten from LinkedIn again. I have not validated, but what they claim is $67 trillion of wealth was taken away from India. That was the reason India was called as a Sone ki Chidiya or Golden Bird. So this whole initiative started with that concept, and that is where we moved on to this concept of Sone ki Chidiya ko jagao or awakening the golden bird with the concept of Mission Zero. One is Mission Zero unemployment, which is on business sustainability, and the volume two is on Mission Net Zero, which is on which is about Mission Net Zero, making it more environmental friendly. So business and environmental sustainability is what we are focusing upon. Can you put the slides? So with this, we have started this model. We were working with the startups or entrepreneurs for the last 2 3 years. Since 2020, I left my corporate world. Uh, my name is Anshav Jain, and I've been into corporates as a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and a PMP professional. Worked with almost all the top brands like WNS, Reliance Group, SR Group, SIFI, Satyam Info. My first job apparently was in Chennai. So for 15 days, I was here. In fact, yesterday I relived my Besant Nagar beach memories after 21 years. So when I came in here and, was kind of enjoying those moments, and I was with Sifi. So I met Raju, that time MD of Sifi at that, on those times. So since then, I've been into business development, business process engineering, digital transformation, worked with different companies including TCS, WNS, Wipro was my last organization, and 2020, 3rd January 2020, I bid the corporate career a complete goodbye on that and started this journey of Design Your Unicorn. Design Your Unicorn is a methodology which supports entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and business owners to transform their ideas into a $1 billion company in 3 to 5 years' time, which leverages a lot of tools and methodologies from Lean, Six Sigma, PMP, and other quality methodologies. And aligned with sales and marketing aspects, focuses on the cash optimization front on that. So this is where this is our third investors meet. And before that, I would like to introduce Dr. Vinaya. Dr. Vinaya is our co-founder and director for the fund, and she's running Bringle Excellence for as a CEO for the same. So, Dr. Vinaya, over to you. If you could talk a little bit about yourself, you can unmute yourself probably from there.
So this is again a challenge now because it's multiple connected in multiple places.
Okay.
However, yes, I think it'll echo now.
Yeah. So why don't you use this?
I'll switch this off and speak at
Yeah.
it is audible.
Okay.
Right? It's such a closed room, yes. Good evening, good afternoon to one and all here. Firstly, thanks to everybody for taking out your valuable time and being here. It really means a lot while you all are here and have trusted us. And also all those investors who have trusted us, the Super 30 investors whom we are meeting in the verge of this, I'll say, Hamara Karma. So शर्मिला जी हमारा और अंशव जी का कारवां जो है. So we are just moving on from one city to another to meet like-minded people. As Anshav said, yes, we are all focused more on how we can support Indian startups and how we can actually build this thought process of entrepreneurs all put together. And to talk about myself as a part of this whole initiative, thanks to Anshav and Shamila for having me here with Bringle and also the other initiatives. While we say I'm an educator by, I'll say I'm an educator by birth. I've always been grown up between students because my mom being a teacher. So all the time, students, right, in the school also in the same school, and while we come back home, tuitions and everything. So It's always been growing, and hence chose to become a teacher initially, and then grown from a teacher with my 27 years of expertise in education sector. I just left my job 2 months back as a director principal from international school in Bangalore, and wanted to start up something on my own. So this journey of entrepreneurship started 2 3 years back now, when I met Anshul in one of the speaking sessions where we were talking about how entrepreneurial journey is very important for the students, because we were never taught about what is entrepreneurship. Because as I say, like, if for us it was only always taught that study well so that you can get a good job. This is what we usually tell it to the children. The world is very very different, and I feel what we basically need is to tell the students that it is not about studying well and get into a job, but it is about study well so that you have your skills and you can do whatever you want to do. That is the kind of generation.
So that is the journey into learning models which are
Thanks to Billion Dollar Dream for making it successful. And as an entrepreneur, the journey has been very exciting, and looking forward for many more excitement things ahead. And with all the expertise in education, yes, I'm trying my level best to make sure that this dream of a teacherless platform, an internet-free platform, would be successful someday. We are talking out to Karnataka government, and we have being successful by the Karnataka government accepting our proposal of 25,000 students of government schools in Karnataka, residential schools, where we are going to teach them communicative English, because we are rigid with our curriculum. But beyond the curriculum, even if the child has done his degree, do we guarantee that the child can stand and face even five people and speak? That's the biggest challenge for any child, especially if we talk about a state medium school or something like that. Because for us, we were blessed that we had parents who were still trying to give us all that exposure and making us learn. But we see that these exposures lack in the children. So how do we do that? And that program has been designed, and we have already taken it, and we've got an acceptance from our Karnataka government, and looking forward that we would get into our different states and also make them understand that it just takes a small vision, but it just takes a small heart to take it ahead and go ahead and empower those children so that they can wake up. Because ultimately, we all have lived half of our life, and it is the youth, it is the children who are going to be our future ones. So why not secure our future rather than securing ourselves? That is me.
Thank you so much, Vinaya. Vinaya, this is really a passionate Dr. Vinaya, I would say that. And why this is important for all of you to understand is Bringle is one of the company which is having the quite a majority stake in our fund, the holding company for which you are the shareholders. And Bringleverse is going to be our revenue generation company, most of it, and working with these education field. We recently our patent, which we filed it up in 2017, has got approved. So
That's a big thing.
it's an end-to-end skill assessment platform, digitalizing the skill sets. So today, if you see, we don't know what are the skill sets for us. But how come? Think about a scenario that a robot comes, shakes your hand at the age of 5 years old, and tells you that you are very good in marketing. I've changed so many careers to decide where I should be going. I dreamt to become an astronaut, wasted 2 academic years in preparing for medical, then joined engineering in the top 10 engineering institute, Delhi College of Engineering, joined the business development, the first company in Sifi Limited, been in Chennai again, you know what I was mentioning. And 1 year down the line, I left that company because I got selected in Reliance Industries. You know, being an engineer, it's always a dream. You work in that industry. I left everything. And the only question which was asked to me in my interview in Reliance, would you be able to leave this kind of a job where you wear a suit and tie and everything, and now you're coming to a back end where you don't even know whether your clothes will be left unspoiled after the day shift? Okay. And but I said yes, and I will be going. But as soon as I reached out into Jamnagar, the world's largest refinery of the world, grassroots refinery, I realized I've done the biggest mistake. It took 2 years for me to correct that mistake. Taken a transfer to a marketing support role in Reliance. And then my journey started into Lean Six Sigma. From there, joined other companies, WNS, TCS, Wipro, and others. But the worst part was I lost my job 2013. I was the highest earning member at that, youngest vice president, earning the highest amount of salary at that point in time, at a young age of 34 years old. And I lost my job. That was the first awakening moment for me. Are these jobs really helping us to grow? Or are we just running into that 9 to 5 circle? I was talking to Zahir Bhai, just 2 days back. It is like I saw one video. I will figure out where I can get that. But there's a dog which is running in a wheel. It's a big wheel, and the dog is running on that. Keeps running, keeps running, keeps running, keeps running. And the dog is thinking that they're doing the wonderful job. We just went to this one of the Mirage, the mirror mazes, wherein if you go inside, you're actually standing, but you will feel you're circling in that and you're falling. The job is like that. You can constantly keep working hard. You keep building up. Whatever your income is coming, you keep increasing that income, but your expenses also go up. You might be getting a 1.5 crore or 2 crore or 3 crore property, and you're actually paying the EMIs a 60%, 70% of that amount into your property EMI. And the property still doesn't belong to you. The problem is that mindset. It's not the job which is a problem. The problem is that mindset. And I broke that mindset in 2013. And that's the time I realized that the day you will be thrown out of that wheel, you don't know how many liabilities you have put in behind you. It took me some 10 years to understand that and build that platform for others and create that financial freedom model. And that is what the whole concept out here, that how can you come out of that, that cycle from the same. Since then, when I started, life has never been easy. I lost 7 businesses in 7 years, almost a $500,000 of debt with me. Today, while I'm running, I'm living a financially free life, enjoying my life. Every month, I'll be traveling to one part of the country or the world on that. But it took me some 10 years to do that, from the time I lost my job. And it's a journey altogether. So, right now, whatever we are working is beyond money. I don't need money for myself. My needs are enough. I've learned that concept that ultimately at the end of the day, you only need a square meals a day or a roof on your head. Once that basic needs are set up, you practically don't need money from beyond that. While I aspire to become a billionaire, it's not that I don't want money, but there are few things which has to happen beyond money, which is social impact, social service. How can you give it back to the society? How can you help more and more people to grow? And that's where the journey all started. 2017, Sharmila joined us. Apparently, she was working in the same company where I was thrown off. So, but she had a very good time there. That's a kind of contrast part of it. So over to you, Sharmila. I mean, quick 5 minutes. If you could give little bit background about yourself and your inspirations to join us. And thank you so much for being there.
Uh, what do I say? Uh, I joined Anshad because his vision appealed to me. I have social impact as a part of my psyche. I learned to be on my own two feet at a very early age. And it all began in 1970 when I fell ill. I was in coma. I lost half my body. It took me 18 years to get up and running, uh, literally up and running. My academics were affected because I was on medication that put me to sleep. And believe me, the day I started to work, that was 9 January 1989, I gave up all my medication and I started to bloom. It took me another 25 years to get out of that rat race and settle myself and then join Anshul in his quest, and it became our quest. It's been a wonderful 7 years. Yes, hard work, tough times, no doubt. But it has been a wonderful year, 7 years, and for the past 1 year, I can see the fruits coming up, which is something that helps us validate that our thought, our concept is right, and we are on the right path to help people. Social impact is something that I have been doing, working with since 2001. the day my mother told me that my life is made, so now I can go out and help people. I should be doing that. So I've been doing all of it from that point in time, and it's been wonderful. I've had a lot of help from people, and I work primarily uh, in the accessibility and disability space with the government, with NGOs, and a lot of other institutions that cater to accessibility and disability. Apart from what Anshul, myself, and Vinaya have started, this is something that touches my heart, and it has been my dream, the way all of us dream, to have equality, equity, and accessibility for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamila. And I think this is something which I want to add up out here, because having a disabled body at the age of 5.5 years, a girl who is been bubbly, running around, and doing everything at home. 10 days later, she finds herself on a hospital bed, tries to get up, but she cannot. And to be frank, I really applaud her parents, who has kind of taken every step forward to bring her back to life. Today she is 60 years old, just turned 60 years, and she still has the spirit of a 16-year-old girl. I can. The best part is her mother. Her mother is in hospital, and I'm actually calling her up, a video call, thinking that I will give some sympathy or talk to that, and I'm wishing her healthy, safe, recovery kind of thing. And she is shouting at the loudest of her voice and telling me, "Why are you worried? Why they have put me into the hospital? I don't even know." And that is the time what I realized what she has gotten. So this is how the life has been for us. The only thing which we try to focus upon is, and she's now trying to take care of getting her the health and home care centers for senior citizens and persons with disabilities. India is the youngest country in the world today. More than 54% of people are less than 30 years of age. Two of them are sitting here. And probably more. Yeah, actually more. So, and we had around 15% senior citizens and persons with disability just last 2 years. These numbers have grown to 18 or 19% today. By the time we complete our 100 years of independence, we will have more than 50% of people into this age group. We'll be probably the oldest country in the world. In fact, the way trend is going on right now, the young generation, they are going to say they're either not marrying, or if they're marrying, they're just living together, or they're not, even after marrying, they're not having children. It's becoming a big trend in the industry. So you will have a lot of loneliness in the country. US is already facing it. Europe, US, everywhere is the same scenario. Japan is the oldest country in the world today. They don't have enough skilled labor for them. They're actually buying labor. That is why if you see, they're asking Germany, Japan, they're asking young Indians to come there, and we are having a lot of talent loss. So it's not just the wealth loss, we are losing the talent, we are losing the businesses. And that is what this whole concept of awakening the golden bird. How can we transform India back into a number one economy? How can we transform it into a startups and skills capital of the world? By retaining the wealth and the talent within the country. If we can bring back our talent into the country, people like Ananda, we would love to have you back in the country. And of course, we have left India at the time when we did not have too many of resources. We had to. We had no other choices. But it is proved now. In fact, one of the American was talking. In recently he has declared, he was kind of giving that statement that there most of the Fortune 500 companies and many US and UK leadership now have Indians out there. So that was the thing. Now they're saying that if you want to become a Fortune 500 CEO, one of the qualifications that you should be an Indian. This is how Indians are doing great, and we want to bring that legacy back to the country, and that is where the whole mission which we are starting up. So with this, I'll just quickly take it over because this meet is more for investors perspective, because everybody, each of us can be an investor today. So how can we do it with small investments of 10,000, 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, or at least whatever your income is? Invest 20 to 50%. More younger you are, more money you can invest in. And that is how you should be investing. It is not a 1 year or a 2 year journey. You should look at 20 to 50% of your gross income investing in Indian startups. Now, there are challenges and reasons for that. We will talk about that as well, how we can cover that up or how we are covering that up with our fund on the same.
Anshul, can you please excuse me? I need to out.
But if I put the screen, then it will not happen. But anyways, I'm just putting it
No,
there right now because she's the only one who's there. Okay.
Oh, I think we had one.
Anshul,
Yeah. Muthu is also our existing investor.
I need to move out. You carry
Sharmila,
on.
Sharmila, please go ahead because it's under recording, so you can do whatever you want. Feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll just put my screen. Vinay, you'll have to put.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just put it on full screen.
Can we turn the light off so that we can see the screen?
Lights.
That.
Just put up the lights. No, just this one. Behind ones you can keep.
Oh, I didn't
These two
know.
lights you can switch it off. Is it possible? No. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay. This is fine. Thank you so much. Okay, so some of the people which I'm just sharing this, these are a couple of people who are there. I'll start from Mavir Pratap Sharma. Mavir Pratap Sharma is part of is one of the veteran in the industry, and he has been running something called Indian Shark Tank called Horses Stable. Horses Stable is in joint venture with Sunil Shetty and Vivek Bindra is the mentor. It actually comes on Aastak, like Shark Tank India, but it's an Indian Shark Tank. Shark Tank, and he is also a chairman and of the TAI Rajasthan and Rain Angels chairman and founder. So he is part of the fund. He owns 1% of the equity into the company, and he's one of the person who's been kind of supporting us for very long. He was part of our as a chief guest in our Jaipur meetup as well, which was our first investor meet. He's based out of Jaipur itself, and R. Madhavan is one of the Bollywood celebrity. He's a brand ambassador of one of our invested startups, Cinedups. While we are still talking in terms of more, he was also there virtually in our Jaipur meetup. Neeraj Tyagi is a co-founder and CEO for V Founder Circle. Evolvex is there, another investment vehicle where we have invested from the fund, and they've got around 28 startups invested through that, and another 30 startups they are now investing. Avinya Ventures is their venture capital fund. We have committed 1 crore rupees to them from our fund as well. So it will be given to them over a period of 4 years on that. So that is one. This is a little glimpse of the Jaipur meetup.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so just play this.
पंखों को फैलाने दो
This is
उसे
our
फिर
first
से
Hindi song of
जहां
Sole Ki Chidiya
में
Ko Jagao.
ऊंचा उड़ जाने
We
दो
also
फिर
take the
से
English version of
बेरोजगारी को
Wait.
मिटाना है पढ़ाई
This
का
was done in
सबक
Bangalore.
सिखाना है
Can move ahead. Okay, so this is what where we all started up the journey of which we call it as Beyond 2020. We are looking at the Vision 2030 and Vision 2047. By the time we complete our a century of independent India. Next slide. And just play. This is the reason why we. This is in Hindi. How many of you know Hindi here? Okay, little bit.
हम इतिहास
Okay.
की 12वीं सदी
Okay.
के पन्नों को खोलेंगे तो देखेंगे कि हाथ में तलवार लिए गजनी का सुल्तान मोहम्मद गौरी हिंदुस्तान के राज्यों पर धावा बोलता।
So I'll just give the story. I think.
वो
Just,
चाहता था कि गजनी सबसे धनी देश
let
बने
it play.
और हिंदुस्तान की तरह
So this
सोने
story
की
is
चिड़िया
actually of the
कहलाए।
Prithviraj Chauhan, which I
अब उसकी
spoke
निगाहें
earlier.
दिल्ली
1192,
पर
when we
टिकी
lost,
वही
the
दिल्ली
last Hindu
जिसके
Samrat,
सिंहासन
Prithviraj
पर
Chauhan.
पृथ्वीराज
That's the
चौहान
time Mughals
विराजमान
took
थे।
over India the
वे
first
बहुत
time
वीर
in Delhi.
और युद्ध कला में
Mughals,
निपुण
Mughals.
योद्धा थे।
So
शब्द
it was.
अंदाजी में तो वे
So
माहिर
this
थे।
was Ghajini.
जोश में
This is Muhammad Gauri
गौरी
from
दिल्ली
Ghajini.
पर
He
हमला
came in
बोल देता
and
है।
he killed
पृथ्वीराज
Prithviraj
चौहान
Chauhan.
और
Actually,
मोहम्मद
there
गौरी
was
के बीच
Indian
घमासान
king or
युद्ध
his
होता
mama
है
or someone
और
who
इस
was
युद्ध
trying to
में
take over
मोहम्मद
Delhi,
गौरी
and he kind
पृथ्वीराज
of
चौहान के
betrayed
हाथों
him, and
पराजित
eventually he
होता
got
है।
caught and
अब
killed.
बंदी
He
बना
actually killed
गौरी
himself
पृथ्वीराज
after
चौहान
killing
के
Muhammad
सामने
Gauri.
सिर झुकाए माफी की भीख
And
मांगता है।
after that,
पृथ्वीराज,
it took almost 755
मैंने
years
दिल्ली
to
पर
regain
आक्रमण करने की जो
independence. While
गुस्ताखी की
Britishers took almost
उसके
more
लिए
than
मुझे माफी
$67
दो।
trillion of wealth from our country.
कहते हैं कि
And
हिंदुस्तान के
since
सुल्तान
then, in last
दुश्मनों को
75,
भी माफ
78
करने का
years
हृदय रखते
now,
हैं।
we have been able to
तुमने ठीक
regain
सुना
this
है।
to a number 5 economy.
हम
But if
निहत्थे
you
पर
see
वार
from
नहीं
the
करते,
financial independence, it is
चाहे
still
वो
not there.
हमारा
So
शत्रु
that is
ही
where
क्यों ना
we
हो।
took the financial freedom pledge on 15th August 2021, and we have started this initiative of $1 billion dream to
हम
help
तुम्हें भी माफ कर
investors and
सकते हैं,
people to create a
लेकिन
financial freedom
तुम्हें
movement
वचन देना
through
होगा
angel investments.
कि
So we are
दोबारा
very clear on that. We are
आंख
not
उठाकर भी
working on a financial
भारतवर्ष की
freedom
तरफ
model, but
नहीं
we do
देखोगे।
want to help
खुदा की कसम
investors
सुल्तान,
for their
खुदा की
basic
कसम,
risk
मैं
management,
भारत को
in
कभी
terms of
हानि नहीं
insurances, the
पहुंचाऊंगा। लेकिन
coverages,
वो
supporting
अब
them
भी
on
अपनी
creating their
हरकतों से
financial
बाज नहीं
plans,
आता।
what they can
वो
do,
दिल्ली
and
के खजाने
inflow
को पाने
outflow
के लिए
management, and then
षड्यंत्र पर
eventually becoming
षड्यंत्र रचता
a
रहता है।
debt free,
पृथ्वीराज
generate more
चौहान से
passive
ईर्ष्या
incomes,
करने
and
वाले
achieve their
सिर्फ मोहम्मद
financial
गौरी
freedom
जैसे
at the same
विदेशी
time.
मुल्क के सुल्तान ही नहीं,
So we can go
बल्कि
to the next
हिंदुस्तान
slide.
के राज्यों के सम्राट भी थे।
Let
कन्नौज
it
के
play.
राजा जयचंद पृथ्वीराज की ख्याति देखकर उनसे
Let it
ईर्ष्या करते और उनका अपमान करने का अवसर ढूंढते रहते थे। एक ऐसा व्यक्ति है जो हमारी सहायता कर सकता है, वो है गजनी का
You can tell
सुल्तान
them. Can you
मोहम्मद
call them?
गौरी। मैं
So
गौरी के
call him
साथ
inside.
संधि कर पृथ्वीराज चौहान को नष्ट कर दूंगा
So
और दिल्ली
you
का
can just
शासक
say
बन जाऊंगा।
T.
मंत्री जी,
Anybody for T?
शीघ्र ही हमारा संधि का प्रस्ताव गौरी तक
Raise your hand.
पहुंचाइए।
4.
Sir, tea or
चाहे
coffee?
कोई कितना ही बलवान क्यों ना हो,
T. 5. T. Coffee.
वो कमजोर बन
Uh,
सकती है।
Coffee. You can raise your hands.
आपसी फूट का मैं पूरा
3.
फायदा उठाऊं।
You will not take it.
पृथ्वीराज को पराजित कर
Chai. You.
दिल्ली की सारी दौलत मेरी हो जाएगी, मेरी।
And some cookies.
अब गजनी सोने की चिड़िया
और पानी का
कहलाएगा।
ये rounds refill कराने पड़े.
अत्यंत विशाल सेना के
Thank
साथ
you.
जयचंद और गौरी मिलकर दिल्ली पर आक्रमण कर देते हैं।
We'll share this with you. This video. Okay, next. So this is all the journey which started on 15th August 2021 with a mission zero, we call it as today, which includes two things: mission zero on employment and mission net zero. The volume one of the book which you are seeing, this is on mission zero unemployment, and this is available on Amazon at 1200 rupees. So I think we have got some 6 or 7 copies available with us. If you guys want to buy this one of the copy, you can just scan it for 1,000 rupees and take it up. 100% of the profits of these books, events, whatever we do, goes for Mission Zero, where we do a social, which goes for our social venture fund. So we don't keep anything with us on that. And one of the investor, he has recently taken exit with 2x returns from our Super 30 investors. He has donated 100% of his money to the project Lucky Park. So these kind of donations or things. We are also working with Rotary International right now. We're suggesting them to create a cash flow model for them where we invest into school takeover, some kind of a biogas plants, healthcare centers to be invested, wherein this money will be, raised from the Rotary groups and some CSRs, and then it will be invested into these projects. That will be our social venture fund. We will talk about that as well. The second volume is also coming up right now, which is on Mission Net Zero. The book cover is being there. We have our, the magazine also coming up, Awakening the Golden Bird. It's almost finalized. This magazine talks about all our events, activities, whatever we have done internationally. We were there in Sri Lanka meeting Prime Minister and President of that. How can we revive the Sri Lankan economy? Plus, we had been into US, Dubai, and now going to Riyadh again for as well for promoting this concept and talking about this. So that is the front cover of the magazine. This is the back cover of the magazine with all the three leaders, with our vision defined over there from how we started in 2020 to 25 to 2030 to 2047. And So this is the Project Bharatvarsh which we are looking at. Project Bharatvarsh is basically about digitalizing India and how are we investing into Indian startups. So these are more into sector agnostic startups which we are investing into. And the Project Lucky Bag is our social venture fund where we are looking at transforming 1 lakh youth and children in all the cities in every state or all districts of India. The three leaders, as we already have introduced ourselves, so we can just quickly move on to the next. Uh, so these are some of the case studies I've just put in from the first 100 unicorns. How the Indian unicorn tracker, goes into that. There were 110 unicorns data. Uh, Most number of unicorns we got it in 2025. This is not clear.
It is clear for the other people.
Yes.
No, but here it should be also clear. Uh, Okay. Bangalore is the number one city, which is, anyways, everybody is aware. Bangalore has the number one city for the startups. However, Delhi is picking up very, very fast, especially with the government initiatives coming up in Delhi. Delhi is catching up very, very fast. Mumbai is still lagging behind because probably people are more interested in stock markets and things. So we want to create more and more awareness out there. But the tier two cities like Pune, Chennai, I mean, Chennai is of course not a tier two city, but Chennai is picking up very, very fast. I've seen Chennai startup ecosystem is growing very, very fast right now. One of the challenge which I have seen in Chennai today, even today, is they're still very local. If you have investors, they're investing in Chennai startups, and they are getting the startups are taking money from the Chennai investors. That is why they're not visible. That is what my perception is or my understanding so far. But it is changing a lot. It is changing quite a lot. In fact, lot of universities are coming up and incubators are supporting the Chennai startups, and Chennai investors are now investing in various other startups as well. uh, Hyderabad is picking up very, very much, quite a lot. Hyderabad is picking up. Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, even other tier two, tier three cities, even Nagpur, Jabalpur. These are coming up so fast at this point in time that you never know that you will suddenly find some tier two or tier three city coming up more and more unicorns. With respect to the first 110 unicorns, the number one, the area which was invested was e-commerce, followed by fintech and enterprise tech. These numbers may change with the next 100 unicorns. One of the numbers I would like to share with all of you at this point in time is India has got 100 plus unicorns in last 20 years. The data says we may have 108, 280 plus unicorns by 2030. In just next 6 years, we might actually have 200 plus unicorns more. So that is the kind of growth which we are looking at. And if we can work on this model that we Indian investors come forward and invest in these Indian unicorns, this is the best time. Because after this, the opportunity might not that be lucrative around that. So if you want to get into investing in Indian startups, the time is now. It is not that you have to invest only through us. There are around 1100 AIFs in the country. Invest whatever is the basis you can invest, try and invest into those startups, because that this is the best time for you. But be careful, be aware about the startup ecosystem in terms of analysis and all. Me and Shibalan have been a trained certified angel investor, but you should also be looking at learning more about angel investments. So we are doing these workshops and master classes in various parts of the country out there to make this awareness around that. And for all our investors, we do these constant meetups and other discussion forums around that. Okay, so while I have a 1 hour video on the angel investing masterclass, I will share that separately with all of you so that you can watch it at your own convenience. I'll give you a little background about what are the basic item aspects which are covered in angel investing masterclass, which you should be taking care of. And some of that which I've been, learning it from the experience from my, certification, as well as the experience of investing into startups and the evaluation which we have learned from the leaders like Mahavir Pratap Sharma. There is another person called Arjun Vaidya from Mumbai. He's also joining us as a strategic advisor. Okay. So typically angels invest their personal funds and offer provide mentorship and connections. See, remember, it's not only about money which you can invest with the startups. Bring in your expertise as well. If each of us has some kind of an expertise within our industry, so you can bring that and bring the connections into it, which will help to grow that startup and eventually your money as well. So come along with that. Okay. Uh, this is the highest risk, highest reward opportunity. So when you do that, because 9 out of, so I'll give you these numbers again. Silicon Valley is often considered to be very good in terms of investment, right? The number says different. 90% of Silicon Valley startups fail. In India, can you tell me the numbers? Some percentage? 80%, okay. 70% failure, okay. Anybody else? Any other number? Less than 50. Okay, so 80 is the actually right one. So give a big round of applause. So if you just Google it out, you will actually find that Silicon Valley failure rate is 90% and Indian startups is 80%. Now, frankly speaking, 80% is also very high number. But the point is they are 2x more sustainable than Silicon Valley startups. This is one reason I am suggesting everyone to invest in Indian startups rather than Silicon Valley startups. The another challenge while investing in US based or any other apart from India, the control and the compliances. Indian government is putting lot of controls and compliances which you do not have any control outside the country. So if you are investing your money outside the country in any form or the other, there are, if the money is lost, there is nobody to control or bring it back. But in India, there are still chances that people, government will be taking care of that. You can still go take a legal action and all of that. I understand legal action will take time and things, but at least you have an option which you do not have when your money is gone outside the country. So focus on that and bring in more and more funding and branding for the Indian startups. You will be much better. We can go to the next slides. Now, this is one slide which I will share it with all of you. From the perspective, this is a one-to-one mapping. Okay, this will give you an overall view of the startup ecosystem. Startups are starting at there are 5 stages into when it comes to the startups. After that, it goes into a typically into a MSME model or a well fully grown businesses out there. The whole idea here is that how many of you are aware about Swiggy IPO? Have you heard about that, right? Swiggy IPO, you would have heard. How much?
They claim 5,000 crores rupees now.
Right. So Swiggy IPO is when they started pre-IPO, they started with 70,000 crores of the company valuation. And I think which they closed, what I remember last was 1 lakh, 1.1 lakh crores valuation where they were supposed to organize. And I think they've further grown after that. What we are talking about, you can go to the another two as well. What we are talking about is the startups at the fourth or the fifth stages, which is 50 crores to 100 or 150 crores valuations. So think about a startup, a unicorn. When a startup becomes a unicorn, it's $1 billion valuation, which is around 8,400 crores. So the idea here is that we have to identify the startups which are around 50 to 100 crores or 150 to 200 crore valuation, invest in them so that when they become 10,000 crores or 1 lakh crores, your money grows to 100x or 1000x percentage, 1000x plus. Zomato, with 10 lakhs of investment in 2010, when their IPO came in, you know how much money they made for the investors? 10 lakh rupees in 11 years. Any guesses?
10 crores.
Of course. Any guesses? 5 guesses. 10 lakhs becoming 11 years. Mein how much money they made? 10 crores plus, you said. Any other number? Just wild guess.
220.
He knows, he's quite
He is
informed.
quite
He's
informed.
very informed. So 224 crores. That was the money. But when these 6 IPOs, Zomato, Nykaa, Paytm, and 3 others came in 2021, Indian investors lost more than 50% of their wealth in a single day, as high as 2 lakh crores. And I want to remind 90% of this money was funded by foreign investors and mostly Chinese. In fact, there was a joke during the time of COVID when government was banning Chinese applications, saying that you want to ban Chinese applications, right? But you have to travel. Ola had Chinese investments. You have to eat. Zomato had Chinese investments. And for all of this, you need to transact. Paytm had Chinese investments. There were around 16 or 17 unicorns list which came in at that point in time.
90% Chinese.
90% Chinese. Not 90%, but foreign investors, mostly Chinese. 50-60% was Chinese. In fact, Paytm share went down because 40% of their Chinese investors just, not 40% of investors who were Chinese, they moved out immediately at the time of IPO.
And they killed the Paytm payments back.
Exactly.
Overall, right?
Exactly. Because Paytm was supported by Jack Ma. And Jack Ma was facing big problems at that point in time. In fact, Paytm founder, what's his name? Vijay Shekhar Sharma. He's from my same college. He's my senior. Same Delhi College of Engineering. So the idea here is this slide is very, very important. We will anyways share this with you on this. Typically, when you start a business, it is an idea stage. So it goes to the product stage. It goes to the early revenues where the angel investor starts coming in. Typical problem happens, we start investing at an idea stage without knowing much of the things about it. And in LinkedIn, if you, as soon as you put angel investor, you will have so many people reaching out to you and showing you $1 billion dreams. I am not saying that all of them are wrong, but one of the bank's criteria to give loans is that they will not give you money when you need money. They will actually give you money when you do not need money. So there are 3 aspects which you must be take care of this: sustainability, scalability, and profitability. We'll talk about that more as well, little bit on that stuff. But the idea here is that in our fund, we typically identify and invest in startups which are at a stage 4 and stage 5. We call it as white belt, green belt, sorry, yellow belt, green belt, blue belt, and black belt. This is basically coming from a Lean Six Sigma. So, Design Your Unicorn is a methodology inspired by that. That is why we are using that. Now, if you see here, number of startups, if there are 1 lakh at the idea stage, if there are 1 lakh ideas, by the time you reach to this stage, only 10 left, which is 0.01%. The startups with the numbers which we think about 90%, going down is actually coming in from here to here. That is why more than 97% of the startups will be down in next 3 years time. Only 1% get some sort of funding, and out of that 0.01% or some 0.1% becomes a unicorn or so. After this, it starts your growth series A. This is your series A round. After that, the series B, series C, D, E, F, and all of that goes on till the IPO. So before the IPO, you have around 10 to 12 rounds for exit. So as an investor, we need to be very careful which level we are getting into. It's not that you cannot get into an idea stage. You can. But you should be clear who are the founders, what is the idea, what is the product, is it really having a good market? It's called as product market fit. We must be knowing, he knows that. So all of these things you need to be taking care of all of that. At a fund level, when we have fund managers, we take care of all these aspects before investing. Even after investing, there are challenges. So there are legal issues, there are compliance issues, which we take care of during the case of that. As an angel investor, you should learn all of these things. If you have time, apply it. But if you do not have it, there are around 1100 angel investment funds in the country today. You can go to different people around that. There are different ways by which you can invest into the startups today. One is directly investing into the startup as an individual. So you take a direct equity or a debt. There can be a debt model as well. Second, you can create your own investment vehicles, wherein a small investment trust, which we started with our first fund. You can create a private limited company, which will go for a 200 shareholders, up to 200 shareholders, you can have it over there. Third is your AIFs, which is SEBI Cat 1 funds. It's Cat 1 or Cat 2 funds. So Cat 2 funds are typically debt-based funds, and Cat 1 funds are equity-based funds. Now, in that also, there are two criteria. One is called as AIF or Angel Investment Funds. Fifth is Venture Capital Fund. While both are Cat 1 funds, but I'm categorizing it separately because the ticket size is different. So for angel investment funds, you have a ticket size to SEBI criteria is to invest 25 lakh rupees over a period of 5 years. You should have a net worth of 2 crore rupees, except for the property which you are staying in. So they don't consider the property you are staying in. That is the criteria given by SEBI. And all the angel investment funds, wherever you are investing, if they are not telling you this, but they are getting signed under a declaration that if SEBI comes back tomorrow, they can seize your funds. So be very careful in the terms and conditions which people are. Most of the AIF share because they are mandated by government, by SEBI, but still take care of this model. So if you are signing up an AIF, we have signed up 4 AIFs committed to from our fund. So which means that we have to invest minimum 25 lakhs over a period of 5 years with them. The second is your venture capital fund. Venture capital fund is minimum 1 crore ticket size. And another difference between AIF and VCF is in AIF, you can decide which startup to invest. So if they have 100 startup portfolios, they will give it to you. You can do your own analysis and decide whether you want to invest in them or not. In venture capital fund, you do not have a decision making authority. Yeah, thank you. So that is how you should be knowing these aspects, I'm just giving you a very brief aspect. If you have any more questions, I would just like to take a pause here, because this is a critical area of understanding. So anybody has any questions, thoughts, ideas, please let me know.
What all now we are doing is the angels. Okay.
So we have a investment company, investment vehicle, basically investment syndicate, you can call it as, okay, where which we are giving shares to you on a private limited company. So within that 200 shareholders which we have, as I said, 30 investors which we have today. In the series 2, we will have around 100 investors. So that's how we will have our limit to 130 investors on that. uh, we will have still have some more shareholders available on that. The typical criteria is there is something called section 186(2), wherein 60% of this money I can deploy in equity, startup equity. Rest of the money I can also deploy in equity if I have a shareholder's permission. So you are all the shareholders in that fund, and that is why we invest only 60% into the startup's equity. The rest of the 30% money we keep in debt funds, so that we can generate some sort of capital protection for the investors, and 10% is being utilized for the administrative expenses for the next 10 years. It's a 10-year-old fund, 10-year long. Through this company, we invest in angel investment funds and venture capital funds and direct startups. So we have got 12 direct startup deals. We have committed to 4 AIFs, and there are 2 venture capital funds which we have as of now. Okay, we'll talk about that as well, little bit more. And any other questions with respect to startup stages? Have you heard about this series 1, series 2, this series A, etc., right? Next slide. Okay. Now, why angel investing? You can go to the next slide. Next point. Okay. High returns, diversification. See, I want to share these numbers with you. How many of you have invested in real estate? I've been a big real estate investor. I've brought 10 properties in just 6 years, 5 years, 6 years time, and eventually made all losses too. But everybody would be having some real estate. In India, real estate is a big thing. Average returns for a real estate in last 5 years is just 8 to 10%.
That's a high one.
8 to 10% is the best which you have got. I have made losses. So the time people who have bought the properties before 2010, they have made good returns. But after 2010, whoever has bought in, they have not got many returns. And the way the real estate is growing, I'm not seeing many more returns right now.
Actually, they are selling at what they are selling today prices, which they are supposed to sell after 5 years.
Yeah. Yes. See, the only thing is
That's the
that,
problem.
in fact, there was a video there was some interview I was going through on LinkedIn or some YouTube.
That's why when somebody says that I bought a flat at 1.3 crores,
See,
I laugh at them.
real estate was growing because of the number 2 market. Okay, the black market was growing on much, but now people are not putting money into real estate because everything is white. No builder takes it. I mean, unless it's a very small time builder, they probably take it, but nobody is taking money right now. They're all because of the RERA. Everybody wants white. So a lot of control has is happening. If you see stock market, I was talking to Nitin, right, to him on the call, that if you see stock market, it is also 10 to 12% average. There are people who claim that we will give you 100x or 200x or returns. Believe me, I have also got 4x or 5x returns, but it is only one of the case. Now, if I see my overall portfolio, I would have actually made losses. People only see one of the aspects. Even all these coaches and wealth managers who are talking about it, they will only show their success stories. So it's not that you are not losing money in stocks. People think that they're not losing money in stocks, but there can be a small leakage which is happening, which you might not be aware. So it is not that startups are the big things. There are everywhere is a problem. Gold, that's also 8 to 10% growth. Not much. Yes, it is good investment, but you cannot put everything into one basket.
After Trump has come, it has fallen.
It will further
Oh
have
my
its.
God, that's a study. I was just seeing how.
Now this will be a red line item
Yeah.
for the people who are owning gold. A lot of people in South India owns gold.
I tell you, it cannot be bankrupted like Sri Lanka or any other thing because
Yeah.
people hold 3 times of US Treasury gold in the
Yes,
physical.
yes, yes.
Very.
See, India may not have the problem, but I'll tell you the Indian scenario also. What I've heard, 60% of the GDP we still have debt. So if you have $3.5 trillion GDP, around 1.6 or $1.7 trillion of debt, India also
They
has.
are much better than
I mean, that's a separate story altogether. Yeah. Okay. Now there are different type of an angel investor profiles, experienced investor, an entrepreneur who can be a part of. So if you see all these first 100 unicorns founders, whether it is Dipinder Goyal of Zomato, Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm, or anyone else, they have their own portfolio. So while they were building their own startup or unicorn, they were investing. They were investing into that. So many of the people nowadays in the corporate segment, they feel that they want to start their own business. I also started with the same journey or same thought process. I'm still building my own company, right? Bringle is one of my startup. Now the problem here is that we do not know. There are so many areas, 4 areas, 7 pillars, and 105 factors which can make or break the businesses. And 9 out of 10 startup investments fail, as we know, right? So, if you want to really come out of that rat race and you want to try and leaving your job, you should have at least 3 to 5 years of funds available with you to make sure that your family is safe, plus your business income. Will you be able to even afford that money to be creating that setup? Not possible. So, frankly speaking, I have had people who have been thinking to come out of their job for the last 3 to 5 years in my own community, whom I'm coaching, but they're still into job. Because to start a business, you need to be sustainable for next 3 to 5 years. I have done that mistake, and I don't want anyone to do that mistake. If you can parallelly invest in these startups, and this time is the best actually. So invest your time and energy and money into that. You will get better returns. Maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, you may have so much of money that you can easily try something of your own, or you may not need it. Why to bother your head? I have seen one video. I don't know if it is here or not. Okay, I'll show you. I think it should be. This one. Passive. So he's a real estate tycoon, by the way. He made all his money in $3 billion in real estate. So he promotes a lot of. He's also the co-founder of another organization called 10x Plus or something, which has come in India also right now.
that. Our players he also talk like this, but I don't think now he's in a broken.
He has his own challenges going through, which I have heard about it. Uh, Properties, a lot of people are talking about properties, people are making, but right now it's a very big difficulty. There is a company in India who has started promoting for US property real estate investments, and they're giving you 25% of per annum guaranteed returns, claiming to be. Minimum 10 lakhs investment. Now think about it. US real estate is going deeply down right now. And they're taking money outside the country. And when I asked them, are you RBI regulated? They said it's under process, but they've already collected multi-million dollars. And investors doesn't realize this. They won't trust Indian startups or Indian businesses, but they're ready to give money on these premises that they will get 25% per annum. Anybody can get into that luring, right? Without doing any research. See this video. This is one of important video, small video. This is what the main thing which we should be, kind of looking at this point in time, and focusing on bringing it back. Now, when it comes to angel investing process, it's a 5-step process which you must be knowing, and each step has its own requirements into it. The number one is sourcing deals or the networking. See, whenever you invest, like I am now, in December, I've been invited by ABP in Kolkata for a startup event. There are many events keeps happening like that, and invitation comes in. When you meet these people, you will find there are handful of investors or venture capitalists within that area, which just keeps moving around. The networking becomes very, very important. When you go to these places, you will suddenly find some good startups. As I said, when I come to Chennai for some event or something, I find very local good startups, but they don't have access. So you need to be very clear about how are you going to find out these good startups. So you need to move around, and it's a full-fledged job. Believe me, I literally have my one suitcase always ready or packed because I keep traveling, and you need to source out deals as much as possible. Now, there are multiple ways to do it. One is you can do that all throughout on your own, reach out, do the networking. You can reach out to these angel investment funds or venture capital funds who have been generating. So, like 100x.vc, they've been getting 8,000, 10,000 deals every month. And out of them, they will invest in 8 or 10 startups. Shishir Gupta is another one, another investor. He has recently moved to Goa. Startup. He started very early. He also started a couple of years back, and then
Huge list of startups.
yeah. But the problem with him is that I mean, not with him, I would say he also has got a lot of good startups. Uh, but whatever startups we have seen from him, so we have our own choices, right? 100x.vc is very much easily, but frankly speaking, they have got around 50 to 100 deals today which they have invested. See how does their model works is for them, they invest in a startup when they're a 3.5 crore company. We are talking about 50 or 100 crore company. They invest at the time when they're idea stage, 1 crore or a product stage. Not even a product. We have seen their startups. Most of their startup does not even have a product. Forget about revenues. So their objective is they will get into a startup. Everybody has a different strategy. They will get into a startup and they pay 25 lakh rupees at a 3.5 crore value. So they take 7% equity from them. 7.5. So at a 3.5 crore valuation. Immediately to the next level of investors like us who got trained from him and all that, 100x.vc is run by Sanjay Mehta. They put it to us at a 3 times valuation. So for them, the money is already 3x. Their model is very clear. Because investors will get, as soon as they back up, lot of other VCs and other people backs them up. So the startup who gets into that, they are already getting a backup. Their valuation is tripled. And their money is also tripled. They focus on 20x returns in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years time. That's their target. See, every investor has to create an investment thesis. Where do you want to invest? Like we have a very clear sector agnostic, but has to be technologically linked. The sweet spot for us is 50 to 100 crore valuation. That also we ask them for a discount. So that negotiation we do. Okay, if you are saying you are a 100 crore company, we'll give you at a 50 crore company. If you say you are a 70 crore, we'll give you a 30 crore or 35 crore or 40 crore valuation. So that's a benefit we take it from them. Ticket size also varies because like in drones minimum ticket size was 20 lakhs, the drone company which we have. But when we negotiated and they saw the potential, they said, okay, we'll give you at 10 lakh rupees. So we got it at 70 crore valuation, pre-money. The next round which they are raising is at 150 crore valuation. So for us, it's already 2x raised. But think about a startup. I mean, this Indros, we would have been there when they are 5 crore. We would have already 10 times or 15 times.
That is what the startup thinks is.
That is what 100x.vc works. So they will exit at the time when it is 700, with 70, 100 crore company. For them, it's a 20x returns. But there are losses also in that. So you remember that table, 10% drop down at every stage. So make sure that you have to decide which level you want to get into. At our fund level, we have decided that we will get into at a 50 crore, 100 crore valuation because fairly stable companies. They have certain revenues, they have sustainability. We don't want to jump into those ones which are very, very raw. We support incubators. We create separate funds for those incubators into that. Okay. Red flag. Just a bit. Right. So due diligence is very important, financial and strategic, both from the team perspective, their financials perspective. Most of these startups, especially at an idea stage, product stage, or even at an angel investing 3 stage, they don't have proper pitch decks and financial models because these are money raised in, put up their own money, raised from a family and friends, or some angel investors. So they won't have deals available which are compliant under compliance by SEBI or SBI or MCA. But when you reach to the stage of stage 4 and stage 5, you have to have that because that is the time you're raising your institutional funds. So by that time, the lot of unwanted issues are taken care of. You already know that there are big guys involved into it. Like Indros is supported by Mapma India. In Core Over, which is building Bharat GPT, they are among the one of the 7 LLMs. They have a lot of good support. Minimum ticket size is 1 crore. So all these opportunities where we get into, the idea for our shareholders is they will get the benefit. Then evaluate valuation, net worth, structuring deals, equity, whether we want to give them debt or equity, there could be a mix of that. All of that support. We help them raise further funds, help them for business development. Because if they grow, our money grows. Our target is that we should be able to get 10x returns in next 3 to 5 years time and 100x plus returns in next 10 years time. That is the objective. Because we want to invest in 1,000 companies with this $1 million fund. In 1,000, we are expecting 100 unicorns would be there as a general model. 100 unicorns, some of them will give us 1,000x returns, some of them will give 10x, some of them we may lose also. Till now, we have a 100% success rate, but we don't know. Okay. Then the exit strategy is very important.
Past performance doesn't guarantee.
Yes. And second, it is very important that which valuation you are jumping in and at what time you exit. So exit becomes very important. See, it's like stock market. You have not made money unless you have money, return into your account, because in your startup stocks portfolio it might be showing 10x returns, but by the time you want to sell it off, you might sell it off in a loss. So till the time the money is there in your bank account, so exit is very critical. So at what time you take an exit, you have to take a call. Sometimes people have lost money only because the exit timing was not right. Startup would have come and said, I am giving you 2x or 3x or 4x returns. You want to take an exit. And we think, no, 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 it will grow. Buy juice. Zero. Came down to zero.
It was too much greedy.
Anyways, that's a separate story. We'll talk about it.
Not in the recorded form.
No, we can talk, but it will be only from our version point of view. We don't want to comment because we don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. So there are some red flags you should be looking at when you do the due diligence. And these are very critical ones. At a broad level, you can look at it. One is weak founder team, lack of vision, experience, overly optimistic projections. Financial numbers has to be critically reviewed. We are exiting from one of the startup recently. We are asking for a refund because we have realized that what the projections they were giving in earlier are not matching with what they have told us, and they're not sharing their financial projections, and they're not being supported by any much new investors and things like that. And monthly, if they are spending 12 lakh rupees, 13 14 lakh rupees every month, and they have zero revenues, how will their startup sustain? They'll keep chasing investors after investors, but it's all investors' money. You cannot run your business like this. No competitive advantage. That is why we support mostly technologically linked, scalable models, patent pending or patented products. One of our startup is doing pretty good right now, MobiPay, which we'll bring it into our evaluation committee meeting next week. They're doing pretty good. They've got multiple investors. They are the exclusive SIM-based technology for financial payments and digital certifications. They will grow 10x, 100x, much faster.
Fintech.
Yeah,
It's a fintech.
it's a fintech. It's already they've got government approval, and government has come down. Geo is working. They are a partner. A lot of good work they are doing. They've raised almost 70% of their funds.
Starlink should not take over.
Starlinks is a separate model altogether. But anyways, even if they take over for us, right now it's the returns which we are looking at. Even if they do, it's okay. We'll take an exit at that point in time.
The minute Starlink comes, I think we should exit from there.
Partial exit at least we should do.
Yeah.
Starlink is threatening Geo itself.
They are partnering now actually.
No way. As this guy has won the election, they have to give, so it's government.
Yeah. Now Trump will push back to India.
Yeah, even before itself as a lenient.
Right.
The Starlink is very expensive. It's around 10,000 rupees. While Geo gets you at a fraction of the same.
That's what one guy was telling that, Geo knows how to play the game in India. Which those days cannot be done.
True. So, lack of traction, insufficient customer base, market validation. Sometimes you have to get into the investment thinking that it is good, but over a period of time you realize. So, if you whatever time you get the opportunity, at least take your money out, which you can invest if it is possible. That's how most of the fund managers are trying to do right now. Unfavorable terms, dilutive funding rounds, unfavorable deal structures. You have to know all of these structures and things on that. Legal issues, unresolved compliances, regulations. These are one of the things which become very, very important. Many of the companies have gone down because of the legal issues. One of the company was there. It is a big case study in Silicon Valley. Company has reached to a $9 billion. It's a case. It's a movie and a documentary available in Netflix. With the tagline says CEO looking out for a blood. So basically what they were doing is they were taking a single drop of blood, putting into the diagnostic machine, and it will give you a detailed report even on cancer. They kept on fooling investors for almost 3 or 4 years. They took the valuations to $9 billion.
Came as a case study.
Yes. The The CEO is in prison even now. And it came, and they were all were fake. They were actually not making any machine like that, or there was no machine like that. Yeah, you would know that. A 19-year-old Stanford dropout. Dropouts is a big trend, no? So people.
Instead, one day from BDD was launched on hemoglobin.
There are many people who have done a good job. The problem is, see, there are two things which works into the startup ecosystem. I call it as a boyfriend or a BF game: branding and funding. If you have a good branding, you have a good product, say market fit, you're able to sell your product. See, it is not about having a good product today. There are ample number of innovations are too many in the country.
How to scale it up?
How do you scale it up? How do you sell? I have recently one of my podcasts got released. I will share that with you guys. Dr. Vinay's podcast is also there on skills or teachers training. But that's where I said Indians are all jugadu. We know how to make it. That is why we have been so successful across the globe. The problem is we're not able to sell even today.
As a product.
You know, I will not name this university. One of the top university in India had got 700 patents in last 2 years. I was there as a keynote speaker. And I was talking to the vice chancellor. I said, and he was boasting about these 700 patents.
Not even one has come out as a product.
Very right. And it's one
He
of the
said it.
top most university in our country.
I know that.
Okay. I asked this question. I said, how many of them has been commercialized? Zero.
That's a problem.
And most of your PhDs who are called themselves as, very proudly as doctors and who are teaching in the industry, they don't even know where their thesis report is lying, for which they became a doctor.
PhD in India is a
Innovation is not a problem. Nowadays, new trend has come up now. You take a PhD degree just based on your experience. People are selling PhD degrees.
in India, PhD is unlike US where you have
US also people are selling now.
some universities will take 8 rounds,
Yeah.
8 years to do it.
So there are, various aspects you need to negotiate with them, understand what is this all about, equity share, valuation cap, liquidation preferences, how will you liquidate, pro rata rights. Pro rata rights are basically, let's say they want to raise the next round. What you should be the first one who should get this opportunity. If you have more money, you would want to get into that, probably at a discounted valuation or something like that. So all those benefits you can discuss with the investor, with the startup. Board seat, if you want to support them from a mentoring, and also most of the startups we generally get into their advisory seats so that we can help them out grow further. Founder vesting period. This is another very important aspect. Okay, we have actually, I told you about that. I lost 1.5 crores in my first time. See, what happens is most of these founders will have the maximum equity. But if you already have a equity, the entire money which comes to them, they have a better control. So typically when you bring the it's okay. So if you do the co-founders in the company, at what period they are getting those shares? You cannot give the shares at the, let's say you have joined just now, looking very good, promising co-founder, and you are supposed to get, let's say, 10% equity. If you give them 10% equity and you have not performed even, the person holds 10% equity. Let's say there is a divestment or anything happening or a dividend, this person is getting that without any benefits. So you have to give them. So typically it happens that you give 25% at the end of 1 year after review of the board and everything. So you need to check how the vesting period is there for different co-founders. How much they're in the company, or is that entire thing is taking over by one founder or investor into that, the person has the entire control, you have nothing over there.
Recently, suddenly one share went up over the night because of that.
Exactly. So vesting period is also very, very important.
I was surprised, 10,000 rupees, 76 lakhs overnight.
Yeah. Next slide. Okay, now couple of top tips. Start small, think big. There are many funds like ours who have been taking money 1 lakh rupees, or there are startups also. But be careful in these startups. If you feel it is good, even if wherever you are trying to trust, start with a small amount. Think big. Okay, this small amount can grow multiples. Over a period of time, you can invest basis on the trust grows. Like so Ananda, he started with a very small amount. He said, let me see. And very soon he jumped into. And in fact, today, till today, he is investing. That trust has to grow over a period of time. Zahir, he also did the same, started with a small amount, increased the amount. So when it's not just about us, it's about anywhere you go, start with a small amount. Whatever the minimum ticket size you can afford. And in your mind, keep that it may go or as a loss, but it will give you experience. See, I have lost 1.5 crores in my first deal, but it gave me immense experience, immense learning. Where are the things which can go wrong? What are the things I have to take care? I learned more about angel investment and then created this fund now. Diversify, know your value beyond capital. Again, mentoring where you can do. All of that is critical. Yeah. Zomato, we anyways knows 10 lakhs to 224 crores. We have already discussed. Baiju is a very controversial thing. This is what I was saying. I will probably discuss. See, this is my version. Uh, if you see Byju's was almost $1 billion company before COVID. Within 2 years, the valuation jumped to $22 billion.
That is what the doubts came.
And it actually had something called in our Lean Six Sigma, there is a term called post hoc fallacy. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, Six Sigma.
Six Sigma, you must be aware. Post hoc fallacy is that sometimes when we do Six Sigma projects, we see improvements over a period of 6 months, 1 year, the project is completed. But it is because of a special case. There is something called special cause or common cause. COVID was a special cause. It just happened, and suddenly online learning became a big trend.
Zoom went up.
Zoom also went up, and everybody thought it is going to be the life for future. But it was too early because people are not comfortable with that online learning. Forget about that. Countries like India, Baidu, what they did, I think you should share this story, Vinaya. What happened from the perspective of connections, right? The how they started giving the students access for that. You want to talk about it?
No, we will, at the end we will discuss.
Okay. So basically, what happens is that in that scenario, okay, let me tell you the valuations perspective also. How the valuations being created. If you have a X revenue, typically there is something called discounted cash flow modeling, which is being done for most of the startups because there you're talking about next 5 years projections. So if you are having currently an X revenue, let's say you have 1 crore revenue today, and you are looking at that by the next 5 years, you are going to grow to 100 crores. What they will say is 5x or 10x is your valuation. So if it is a profitable company, you can take up to 10x. So your 100 crores revenue can give you 1,000 crore valuation, sometimes even much more. So that if you see from a valuation, so I'll tell you our own scenario, Bringle. When we gave it to one of the investment banker, we gave us our numbers to him that this is what we can capture because we have a lot of institutional connects. It looks very good on numbers, okay, Excel sheets. You know what valuation they gave it to us? And we were having almost just 10 lakh rupees of yearly revenue, 10 or 20. $82 million valuation. $82 million valuation with 20 lakh rupees of revenue. And we were in loss. And we were wondering how. And these numbers are given by us only, right? We will grow like this and all that. So discounted cash flow modeling is one of the most used, valuation methodology. but not appropriate. Still, it is happening. People are using that only. We will also use the same. But you have to be careful. As a founder, also, as an investor, also, you should know where the numbers are being managed. You should check the background of it, how much revenues they are talking. Can they really grow to the numbers which they are talking about?
On the market crowd also.
Exactly. So then we asked them to brought it down. I said, these numbers, first of all, doesn't look achievable. We only gave you these numbers, but doesn't look achievable. You have to look at, as a founder also, you have to be careful. You know what is the next valuation it came down to? $18.2 million. And we were raising money at around 7.5, $5.8 million that time. So you have to be very, very careful. See, it is not only for the investor, but for the founder also to raise money. Think about a scenario. If you grow too fast, it's like in a job which happened with me. I grew too fast that I became out of the job market because nobody can give me that kind of salary at that age and that experience. And even if somebody gives, there are very limited set of jobs available.
The pyramid top.
Exactly. Similar thing happens for the startup valuations. If you suddenly increase your valuation, I tell this thing to a lot of startup founders. One of the startup founder came up to me. He was from DTU, Delhi College of Engineering only. He said, I want investment. I said, why don't you go to DC incubator? They will fund you. 10 lakh rupees they'll fund. Oh, no. They are asking me 10% equity. I said, what's the big deal? You're getting 10 lakh rupees, na? Later on, you give them exit and bring another investor. Right now, they're giving you 10 lakh rupees for nothing. You have nothing available. At least somebody is ready to give you money. Founders doesn't understand that. I have also done these mistakes with my own business.
The government is giving 10 lakhs. Like in Mudal VCs,
Yeah.
government gives 10 lakhs.
So valuations is very important. Same thing is what is happening with valuations jump. So what Byju's did, Byju started giving access to all these villagers, children also. 1 month free access. That was shown as a user base. And the normal conversion would be 10% of that will convert. So they suddenly showed that user base, potential conversion into customers, the valuation jumped to $22 billion. And the American company, basically they took money first, initially the money from the US. US investors jumped it and sold it to SoftBank at that valuation. They took the opportunity. Japan, that SoftBank did not realize what is happening. They also went with the flow because everybody was running towards education, online education, online education. And India's only best education industry was, that time. However, 55% of the startups are edtech, even today. But now nobody funds edtech. They've got a bad name.
One mistake is
Another problem is innovation. What is the real innovation you are bringing in?
again with a lot of unnecessary like Shahrukh
So who did that? Why an investor has approved? They will be there in their board. No founder can just spend money without investors' approval.
They are about to be bankrupted. They signed a deal with this football player.
Exactly. That is where I'm coming to. Who has told that? Because they wanted to grow and get another investor. They did not. And that is called post hoc fallacy. In that $1 to $22 billion they have gone because of that sudden uprise of online education. While the actual growth, if it is like this, when it is shown like this, the actual growth is probably like this. People, as soon as the lockdown came, people came back to the physical education. They don't like it. Neither the teachers, nor the schools, nor the students. While we are also building up a blended learning school in Metaverse in Bringal, it will take its own time. The market is not that big even today.
Acceptance is very less.
Exactly. Second, what model you are working? You cannot have a pure online education. You can have blended learning education. So this is all the investors' greed, which has kind of forced the entrepreneurs to invest in such kind of sponsorships and other things. And ultimately, who lost?
SoftBank.
SoftBank can afford it. The Indian investors who have initially invested, we have lost. One of the best edtech startup we have lost, which is an Indian startup.
That's the critical part, isn't it?
Exactly.
The company from India, which was growing as a rocket ship, is no more, is the biggest loss.
Exactly. And even today, if you remember the trend, the first company to become bankrupt was a US subsidiary, US company of Byju's. In India, from India company, they were still trying to pay to their employees because everything is in India. Byju tried.
But there is an acquisition of the other execution of it.
That is also some of the aspirational things. That is what I'm saying. See, founders also have to be careful.
I think the problem is the ecosystem is going to take a hit, right? And the moment when the ecosystem had taken a hit, it's going to create a, as in like aversion from the investors whether I have to put money.
Yes.
You know that, right? I introduced you to Taran,
Yes.
who's a founder of Melvano,
Hmm.
which is also a, as in like, what is that? Neat entrance coaching app. Or
See, you have to
ecosystem.
see the
He himself
scalability
is
also, right?
Saying that, there is an aversion because of Byju's failure.
Exactly.
The ecosystem is impacted. That's the biggest problem.
See, think
That
about
Byju's
it here. You've got really a bad name.
The trust is broken because of the actual vision what they had.
Yes.
While if you ask me, I'll just take 2 minutes.
Please.
Back then, 10 years back, or no, 8 years back, when I was introduced to Byju's, when my daughter was being called up for something, I was really impressed the way, because there were a lot of students and the way they really did the quiz. And I actually saw Ravindran was doing it for the students. That passion, that interest, that urge, what he wanted to bring the change in the education system was super. That was almost 8 to 10 years back. And then now, when I was in my school and what my students experienced, where they were forced, they were manipulated, children were just told to click on a link, and as he said, free access. And after a month, the deduction started happening. Parents came to us. Schools were not aware about it. Nobody was aware. When the child clicked, parents said, "You are linked. We are not linked." So, as you said, the entire ecosystem was so much, I'll say, disrupted,
Manipulated,
and people started losing faith, even the good things now which are there.
Exactly.
Because they will only say, "Oh, is it?" So whoever comes, so after that physics wala, when he came, I was like, no, I don't want to get into one more problem.
By the way, physics wala recently reported a loss of almost 1,500 crores.
Exactly. That's the point, right? And there is a monopolization that has happened.
Yes.
They acquired Akash, they acquired Whitehead Junior, and as in there was
Whitehead Junior
not
was the
ecosystem.
first mistake they did.
Yes.
They bought it very early, thinking that software industry is, soft code and all that. But in fact, they were so pressurizing students. Everybody should learn coding. Why? The child doesn't want to know, learn coding.
There was nothing much related to coding. If you
Ah.
ask me, there is nothing much related to coding, because when we experimented with few kids right from our home to our school and all, it was just that the instructions, like how you paint, take it from this point to this point, this point. There's nothing which is coding there. But then, because of all of this, we lost that good ecosystem which would have developed in a much better way. And as said, we lost our Indian startup. And he had a good vision and idea, but we lost him now.
Yeah, it used to be a banyan tree which has to give generational benefit, and no more.
It is.
See, as an investor, when you invest, I'm talking from an investor's perspective right now. Being a founder and investor, both, I'm telling you this. When you start as a founder, you have to look at from an investor's perspective, because one day you will be invested in the same company.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Robert Kiyosaki name you said, he has given a ESBI framework. We have a pen here. I just want to draw this for you because this is little critical. I will also get a little movement. Okay.
We are into.
So, this is Robert Kiyosaki's model. How many of you have seen this? You have seen this. You have seen this. You have seen this. Okay. Now, what he says is, this is called as employee. This is self-employed. This is business owner, and this is investor. Whenever you do a business, I mean, first of all, I give you a little background. In this side of the left side of the quadrant, there are 95%. So how much are left here? 5%. In terms of wealth, it's actually reverse. So here people own only 5% wealth, and people here own 95%. Now, whenever you start, apart from that, most of the people who tries to jump to this side of the quadrant, they actually end up coming like the professionals, lawyers, chartered accountants. And what is the differentiation which comes in from this to this level is your active income, which we saw that video, and passive income. Now, how business owner makes passive income, that also I will tell you. Okay. When you work as an employee, your 100% your time is utilized. This is your time utilization. Your personal time. So you will be putting 100% of your time here. And in the self-employed case, 80% is your time. 20% you use freelancers and all of that. But your scale only goes from, let's say if you're doing 1x here, you will be able to do maybe 3x, maybe 5x in terms of revenue multiplier or job. Here when you come, this value comes down to 20%. 80% is given to somebody else, either as a processes, systems, people, whatever. So you set up processes and systems wherein you are putting only 20%. Now I work only 10 hours in a week. Now people will say, you work to entire day you are working only. No? Actual work required for the business. My time is going into the business is 20%. Rest is all system and processes, it is given money to. It is called leveraging. You can use your 80%. So you are actually becoming an investor in your own business because you are now bringing less effort, giving less effort, but making more money. From here, 3x to 5x, you suddenly have here 20x to 50x benefits. When you become, at some point in time, you will not be required in the business, like Ratan Tata. Was he really required in the business? Otherwise, how could he manage $105 billion of wealth giving as a donation? Because there you will get 100x or 1000x, or there is no limit. Now, everybody's journey starts from here, either as a founder or as an employee. I have actually traveled in all these four. Right now, I'm sitting here. If I am, even as a company, when you start and you look out from that, when you evaluate a startup or a founder, whether he has this perspective or not. Because if he does not have this perspective, you will not find scalability coming in. Sustainability thought process coming in.
That is where our education system is failing.
That is this book actually we are trying to make it as a textbook for schools and colleges. Because this book has all the logics, basics of financial freedom, financial planning, your entrepreneurship and business modeling. This is why this book is very, very important.
I teach children now. I'm teaching children how to invest in mutual fund. There are children investing now.
So
this way the financial freedom or financial.
It's very important to let them understand. In fact, believe me, I see so many youth coming. Like he came up and said, I would like to invest. I have started 3 years back. I did this research. I launched the concept on LinkedIn. I said I am starting up a SIP of startups. So you put up a money in SIPs, and who is ready to invest in startups? That time those compliances, SEBI compliances, and all of that was not there much. So, 80% of the people were less than 25 years of age. People who are studying in college, having internships, having 10,000 rupees of a stipend, they're saying, I'm ready to put 5,000 rupees into startups. Youth, it's very strong. But they don't know. Whenever I go to any college, everybody wants to do on their own something. But they don't know what to do. Biggest challenge is when you work as an employee, you have to put 100% of your. Many of the times, I have seen businesses. I was into Las Vegas, one of the award event. I met one guy. He said, "I am investing. I need some what, he said, $2-3 million for a senior citizen healthcare model. One of the close area for us, which we are building up social venture fund." So I wanted to understand. I said, "What is that? You tell me what is that?" Again, Chennai guy, but based out of Las Vegas. And the last local consultant has prepared their financial model or a pitch deck. I said, "Okay, what will you do?" He said, "We are going to build some AI-based product. We will do security tracking for the senior citizens and all that, healthcare monitoring and stuff." I said, "Everything is ready?" He said, "No." Okay. So what is your plan? He said, 2 years, I'm going to invest what? $20,000 every month I'm going to invest for 2 years. Almost $1 million he was raising. I said, "Okay, what is the revenue? When is the revenue expected?" I said, "Don't talk about revenue before 2 years." I said, "What do you mean?" I- and then he said, "One of the local consultant only has made this report for us." He said, "You should bring CEOs, you should bring managers, you are also earning somewhere, so you will come and take salary also, and you will just do this product development and something for 2 years." I said, "How? And what do you really want to do?" You just want to help senior citizens. And it is very simple. That is, there is a caretaker which can be available at 30,000 rupees per month. You probably will get trained versions at 20,000 rupees, which is better than the market. And you will support them. And you will pay to them on a salaried basis. Even if you get 10 clients, you have 2 lakh rupees monthly income. You get 2 or 3 people in a localized area, give them 30,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees salary, you are still profitable. Do that basic thing first. No, 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 I want to build a best product. This is where they don't understand the investor mindset. They think we'll get some money, do something, and we'll be happy, we'll make money. Cannot happen. This investor mindset they should have that ultimately they will be invested in their own business. And they should have a long-term perspective. If the founder does not have a vision, the first question I asked to the founder, and I have some of the pitches recorded in on our platform, on our website. I asked them only one question. Give me a vision. How do you see your company in next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years? 90% of the business founders cannot move beyond this. Forget about this, they won't even know 1 year also, 1 month also. They say, "Pehle, let me raise the fund, then we'll see." So the point here is that you should be looking at as an employee that you're doing everything on your own. Put your own money. That is why we don't invest in stage 1, 2, and 3. Let them put some of their own efforts. Then you come to the self-employed, where you start giving it slowly to others. Maybe you have a co-founder who is slowly helping you out. Then you put up once you know that this is selling, if you see from that perspective, this is yellow belt, where you started something. White belt is just an idea. This is your green belt, where some revenue started coming in, the third stage. This is your third stage. This is your second stage. Here it comes the fourth stage, which is your blue belt. Where your systems and processes are set, your time is limited. And that's where it comes as a black belt. So if your founder is not having this understanding, and as an investor, can you really figure it out? Is where the critical thing works out. You want to talk? बंद हो गया लगता है मेरे उसमें से पावर बैंक
But you can't get it. It's gone. It's gone.
take it out. Take it out. उसमें से पावर बैंक निकाल okay, so this is where the investor mindset comes. You see, ultimately he will also be the same person. If he can't understand this logic, then that founder is not good to be invested. It's all the founder we are investing initially. There is no company at this stage also, even at this stage. Right now, whatever we are also doing from our perspective, we are also sitting somewhere here only. No? You are not investing in you are investing in us, in the people who are working. First thing is team. How good is the team? How much they understand? If they don't understand and they don't appreciate the investors' money, they think that they just got the money, let them do whatever they want. They're not giving updates. They're not telling you what's going on with them. They're not coming back with the support also. There's no interaction. What's the point? They're not too big. Yeah.
Okay, just a time check. It's 3:40. So
We will close it. We'll close it.
Let's keep this up.
Oh no, if there are any critical content, probably we have to go through that.
No, it's almost done. Rest of this video, I will send it to you. This is what the angel investment masterclass I did with Sharan Hegde is 1% club, 3%. Where we met. Yeah. By the way, more than 50% of our investors are from 1% club after that webinar. So, and still people are coming up, and he's also from 1% club.
So I think apparently, just 1 minute on this one, right? Apparently, I was initiating that sort of a conversation in a couple of other sessions with a couple of other mentors. You know, why are we not focusing towards angel investment? Because this is an initiative which are taken by by making the people of 1% club as truly 1% of the Indian population, right? So when that thing keep on coming, as a question to the mentors that why are we not really focusing on angel investment? That's when you bumped up.
Unfortunately, I still don't see Sharan to that positive about startup investments. He himself is also doing it a little bit, but I don't see him very focused because I think he's still focusing on growing the 1% club more rather than. So that is why we don't want to jump into his domain.
Yeah.
We just want to be. In fact, recently there is a big hue and cry on LinkedIn where he has recently cut off 15% of his workforce.
Okay.
So he has claimed that, saying that we don't need so many people and I want to grow. We have got investors, but Nitin Kamath has invested 10 crores with them. So we have put that investors' money into bank account and earning 8.5% interest. On that also, people have started creating too many new. See, I am nowhere to comment on that because that's his perspective.
Basically, he felt that there is more return than this other thing. That's what the
Yeah.
The irony is he was into the advertisement of Tyke. I told you, right?
By the way, Tyke, actually what happened is he would have invested in Tyke. Okay. Now, Tyke is the scenario which was the first Indian platform which worked as a crowdfunding.
Yes.
Now, crowdfunding has been banned by SEBI.
Yeah.
It is not allowed. That is why these investment vehicles like these private limited AIFs are becoming more and more popular because there are more compliances involved in that. So, Tyke, what used to do is they used to take even 5,000 rupees, give you a small, they'll club some 30 lakh rupees, 25 lakh, like an angel list. Okay. And then it used to give it to startups.
like
Like?
Rangade. That
Rangade.
law is doing for the farmers and
Okay. There are, see, lot of this real estate also, it is fractional investing right now. These are called fractional investing.
But Taiki's one is not even CCD or probably a start. They call
It's a
it
pure
as
equity.
CSOP.
Yeah, they call it as
having
CSOP.
No voting rights, no equity benefits.
It's called communities SOP.
Exactly.
CSOP.
Startup
Microfinance, but in a startup domain. Now they've been forced by the government to stop funding like this because this is not legal in India and there is no compliances involved. So they found a loophole. They did business for some time, but now it is stopped. Now they've got into invoice discounting because they've got the investors and all of that. So we were very clear since the start that we want to invest in startups within that model. So we had find out the model of private limited. That is why we have kept the limited ticket sizes. Initially, when we started, we have even taken 17,500 rupees for per share. Which is okay. We have taken, but now we don't take. Series 1, we are still taking 1 lakh rupees for some time. But for series 2, it will be minimum 5 lakhs because otherwise we can't have so many investors accommodated. Once our AIF comes into the picture or once secondary market, you will have all those options. Once our platform is up and running, then you can sell because then you can sell individual shares and all that will go beyond the compliance. So secondary market will not have a problem. So this video, I will share this with all of you. It's a 1-hour video. He has also already has the access, but rest of the others we can share this over the email. So I'll just, you can move to the next. Yeah. Okay. So monthly, quarterly updates, you take it from them. Like a lot of our investors reach out to us for updates and we keep giving them. We also do a evaluation committee meeting, weekly evaluation committee meeting where we discuss with them. Investor meets, which we are doing this in every city of almost 50 cities in India, all the 28 states and 8 union territories in next 6 years. With our annual success festivals, 3 days success festival. This time 2025 will be in Delhi. And quarterly shareholders general meeting with updates and all that. While you get regular updates on WhatsApps or emails from us, so you should be looking at even what the startups we have invested. We are also not getting. We are also now reaching out back to them to give us some updates. Few of them are giving, few of them are not giving. These kind of controls are required for you because you've invested your hard-earned money. You can't just leave it like that. So be little careful. Exit strategies, you can look at how will you exit. This is the first question you should get into your mind. When will you exit and how will you exit? If you want to stay with that company till IPO, we also take these calculations over a period of time, what the updates they are giving in. Like MobiPay I mentioned. MobiPay, we found it pretty good. So we want to stay for some time. We'll see. But at some point in time, if we get some 50x, 100x returns, we would want to recover first. We don't want to wait. Similarly, idea is to grow the money. So the way we target is we should get at least 10x returns in next 10 years. We plan for 100x, we may get 1000x. So that is why if you invest 5 lakh rupees, we expect that at least 50 lakhs you will get. We give you a capital protection of at least 5 lakh rupees that you will not lose your original money. And you may make 5 lakhs to 5 crores or maybe 50 crores as well. But 50 lakh crores is a little too exceptional because we are investing in 50 to 100 crore valuation. But 100x is still. But we'll have to wait also for more. And these are small investors. They may not have that much of a horizon. Plus, think about a person who is investing, let's say 5 lakh rupees, and they get 550 lakhs also. For them, that is enough for them to leave the job and enjoy his life as a financially free, if they don't have any loans or something. See, you have to plan for that. I actually sold my properties to become financial. First of all, debt free, then became kitchen free, slowly make some income, and now financially free. Because you have to do that. See, I'll tell you, I was talking to him also. To be frank, if you don't have any loans or something, even if you travel, more than 1 lakh, around 1 lakh rupees per month is more than sufficient. Even if you're earning 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees a month, it's frankly, it's going only on these EMIs and all that.
I kept telling, by the time you touch 45 to 50, you should be out of these EMIs.
Exactly. Think about, see, the problem is, what will you do with this money? If you're just keeping this money that someday it will be utilized, protect that with the insurance covers now, which comes very cheap. Put that money over there, protect your risk, keep a fund, emergency fund of 1 year, and then take risks. And your money is, you are earning somewhere from there, some income is coming, where your basic expenses, every good expenses, I'm not saying reduce down your expenses.
Basic needs is.
Basic needs are taken care of. How much food you can eat in a day?
But today, any city, including the tier 1 or tier 2, to run any family with 2 kids requires 75,000 rupees minimum.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying 1 lakh. I'm saying 1 lakh. If you don't have a loan, and you can easily travel also. I travel every month. I don't spend more than 1 lakh rupees on me. Even after paying, my little bit of a, there's a concept of good debt and bad debt, right? The good debt is where your liability is going out, your money is going out. Good debts are where money is coming in, or at least you have some passive income to take care of it. If you leave that aside, I have not even 50,000 rupees monthly expenses. Travel, I will add another 25,000-30,000 rupees. That's it. But that is company expense, not my expense. So, frankly speaking, we don't need, we just keep holding money. Ratan Tata gone with what? Nothing. $105 billion. Anyways, let's move ahead. So, team and network. Just spoke about us. This is our current network in terms of 5,000 plus investors around. These are potential investors or the leads kind of thing. 15,000 plus entrepreneur community, 50,000 plus experts. We have a world record of reach in 158 countries, 2024 cities globally. We are having base or some kind of events happening in at least 8 to 10 countries today, where we have the partnerships, and very active in 3 to 5 countries. Uh, we work with Indian Shark Tank horses table. Shark Tank India, almost all the sharks we know. The person who brought Shark Tank India there, Ravi Ranjan, is part of our network. He's also from Kolkata. Then universities, IIM, IITs, Delhi College of Engineering, NITs, 350 plus incubators, almost all the top universities. I'm part of Success Gyan community. So that kind of network. We are part of Rotary Group. All three are Rotarians. So Rotary Group, we are working on a big social venture fund across the country to create a fund to raise that and then invest for them to create a cash flow. That will also come into our portfolio. So it's a big, large network which we have gotten today. Chief ministers, in terms of government also. Sharmila works in a government of India, been working for last 2 decades. So a lot of support from different places. Startup India, Skills India, Invest India, all we work with. Around 17 plus state governments. Quite a large network we have got at this point in time. We are connected to almost 50 to 100 venture capitalists or angel investment funds within the country. So that's about little bit about us. And these are the success stories I was talking about. Facebook was one of the one in Silicon Valley. So Peter Thiel was a co-founder. I think you would know this, right? Peter Thiel was one of the co-founder in PayPal with Elon Musk. So when they exited, he invested $500,000 in Facebook, which became $1.1 billion in cash in just 8 years time, and he still had some 4% equity. Zomato, 10 lakhs to 224 crores. Then your Skype person investing 74 lakhs. Then there was no business model. Basically, a product was there, some revenues were there, but not clear business model. By the way, Paytm is supposedly be called as that they still don't have a clear business model.
He himself said that.
So they are still figuring it out.
He is also trying to manipulate the things. That's also wrong.
Whatever, see, that's another story of fundraise and investors. Yeah.
At that level, if you manipulate, it comes out very fast.
Yeah, so Oyo is also, now has been into big trouble. They claim to be reaching to what, $15 billion, and then
I think 10 billion to 2 billion back.
And now they are saying they're back to $2.5 billion. So recently they've raised money.
Yeah.
So see, valuations is a very difficult thing. And the first 100 unicorns, the problem was I have literally seen IM guys showing up everything very fancy on the Excel sheets and investors investing in them. And when you check this guy, I have one of, I think one of our investor met this guy in one of the forum, and he said, you know what he does? He puts good business models and financial models on Excel sheet with an IM guy. He will go to the investors, take the money, and then sell it to some founders and move out. This has happened. That was his business. His business was only this: starting an idea, bringing good investors, giving it to some co-founders, taking his equity money and moving out. But the point is it really worthwhile? So you have to be a little careful around that. That's what we are trying to do. This is the
This is last one.
bus almost done. Just move it. We'll have investors.
One day you can.
English song. We'll put that English song separately.
One day you can.
ये पुराना वाला है. Go ahead. So these are our Super 30 investors. So I think let's have a quick round of felicitation, whoever are there. Yeah, so just move ahead. Abhay Kumar from Jaipur is in Bangalore. So there are 5 stages. Again. You know that white belt, green belt, all that. This is bronze level investors. Then go to the second. These are our silver level investors. Currently, Chennai and Delhi, these two cities are giving us a really good investor. In terms of quantity. Mumbai also has. Rishikesh is from Chennai again. Bhagyashree is there on the call right now. Bhagyashree,
She's there. She would always be there.
she is one of a very good investor, I would say, and she was there in Bangalore too. Bhagyashree, are you there?
I don't know if she will be able to talk or not, but yeah. she's
Okay,
there.
okay,
She texted that.
okay. Very nice. Anyway, so once she's there, we will take her online, and we can move ahead. I think we have two platinum investors.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Ananda, so let's start with them only. Give a big round of applause. Just take off that Deepika card.
I think now it's fine, right?
So we'll take this opportunity to felicitate our platinum investors, and
But you will have to go in the front to do this. Otherwise, will not be captured.
you give it time.
Yeah.
Sir, please. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
आप थोड़ा देर खड़े रहो so that you can click the picture. You are just moving.
नहीं नहीं मुझे भी पिन तो कर लो.
Thank you.
Nice. So by the way, Ananda is actually very soon moving from platinum to our diamond investor. So next time we'll have to give him another trophy actually.
Maybe we can tell it as a
Come,
remembrance
buzz
for
for-
you.
with the
I think even the family members. can
Yeah,
be
yeah,
part
please
of it.
come. You
Please,
should-
please,
you should
please.
come.
Please, ma'am, please. See, it doesn't happen without the support of the family at any cost. See then.
I think you should hold it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
One, two,
Congratulations.
three.
Thank you.
Just press the next button from the laptop.
I don't want to keep this. Yes, so Zahir, we didn't have your
We didn't
photograph,
had your
so
picture.
we have to keep this only. So come.
We were trying to reach out so that we can have some picture. I was asking
I'm
you.
sorry, I mean,
Even
that's
your
very
WhatsApp doesn't
unfortunate.
have your.
It's my dad and my kid.
Okay.
That's okay.
okay, but thank you so much, Zahir. Zahir Bhai is one of the person whom I remember he reaching out to me the first from a 1% club, and the way he was kind of supporting and everything, he asked very relevant questions in terms of what is the startup industry, how we can invest and things. And immediately he said, I'm investing. And that is the trust is what matters a lot. And believe me, 100% of our investors have not met me personally, except now when we have started doing these investor meets and all that. Only one or two investors would have met me personally. And that is the trust which we really appreciate from each of you and all other investors who have been there. So especially Zahir Bhai, I know him very well. He called me up and said, I want to put more money. I want to bring more startups. Can I do that? So, of course, last 1 or 2 months he's been really inactive because of his personal thing. But welcome back, Zahir Bhai. Thank you so much for being there.
We are looking
And-
forward to having you in the committee as well.
Yeah.
Now you. Okay. So small token of
Okay.
appreciation.
Congratulations.
1, 2, 3.
थोड़ा इधर हो।
अच्छा. Thank you. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's
Let
directly
me
coming
pin
on
him
your face.
also. Come, pin him.
Okay.
You stand here now. I'll stand.
Change of place.
Come here.
Center. The tap there. Thank you.
Okay. Why don't you also, both of you also, I mean, you also come here along with you.
Join.
Yeah. So we'll take a group picture for it. Come. Come, ma'am. No,
Ma'am,
come.
please.
Please come over.
I'm so glad that he was all the more attentive throughout the entire week. One,
some
two,
idea
three, please.
Come.
Yes. That's fine.
Okay. So whatever I said did not get recorded.
That's okay.
So, anyways, thank you so much everyone for being. I will close the sessions because we are concluding. And thanks for all our investors in Chennai for being here. We will take it up from here and see you soon again in our next meetup. We are doing a little sips and stories and chai pe charcha in Pondicherry on 19th November from 4th to 5th. So if you have anyone out there who would like to meet up, catch up, I am available. I'll be there. And we'll be discussing over the email or personal phone calls. Anything you need, please reach out to us and we will take it forward from there. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Take care. Keep bringing, keep